Here is lesson number 5 of your vocabulary development videos, which are called Learn New Words. I hope the first 4 videos helped you. If you haven't watched it yet, please watch them and practice using these words as often as possible so that your fluency and your active vocabulary improve. Of the 3 sets of 4 words each, which are there in these new word series, today we have the first set, which you can see on your screen. Very fluent, that is the word. All the videos almost, everybody watches and says, I want to learn fluent English. So fluent is something which all of you know. English speaking fluency. All these comments I get, in hundreds. And therefore, you must know how to use this word also. Fluent. That means you can easily do a work or you can easily speak. So if you are fluent, you can give a lecture for the next meeting, or you can give a lecture to the new recruits who have come in. So in this way, we can use fluent. Look at the other words: eloquent, articulate, and expressive. These words have similar meaning. We can call them as synonyms because in certain places you can use them. You say that if you want to be expressive, then you must learn better vocabulary. Here, expressive, fluent. If you want to be fluent, learn a better vocabulary. But expressive also has another meaning, and that is you are able to express not only using words or speaking, but you are expressive. You can say, this person has a very expressive face. That means by looking at the face, you can understand what that person is thinking or what that person is trying to communicate, not necessarily only through words. Whereas eloquent is usually for speaking. We say that he is an eloquent speaker. Here, eloquent is that a person who speaks in a manner which is very inspiring because he can speak very much, comfortably on a topic, very casually, very nicely, explaining everything, not getting stuck for words. That is eloquent. Whereas articulate again refers to how you speak. Suppose you are able to say many things clearly, like expressively, then it shows that you are articulate. I thought that this young boy was very shy, but when I spoke with him, I found he's very articulate. He's very fluent, he's very expressive, or he is very eloquent. All these, words we can use one by one. If you practice and if you find that any of them is something which is new, then you need to practice it a little more and get benefited because your vocabulary widens, it expands. Very aware. Aware is to know what is happening around you. So for very aware, we have the words perceptive, insightful, and observant. You might find that you are using many of these words already, so no problem. But there are some new words in each of the vocabulary videos, new word vocabulary videos, and you have to concentrate mainly on those new words. Very aware you might be using whenever you speak. It says that young people are very aware of their rights, or the person who was judging the competition was very aware of who did better than the others. In this way, we can use very aware. Whereas if you talk about perceptive, that is awareness which is not really very clear. So you say, this person is perceptive and he can understand even if you don't speak out clearly. So the person can, he's so aware that by looking at your facial expressions, your body language, and whatever little you're saying, that person can understand. Suppose you read a story, many people get a new meaning which others might not get. Then we say that he's very aware of what the author is trying to say. We can say he's very perceptive. That word can be used there. Then we have insightful. Insight comes, it's derived from the word sight. Sight means the ability to see. Insight, ability to see within. So awareness might be only on the surface, but insight is something deep. After hearing the speaker or after doing the project, these people gave some insightful comments. So you say insight, that their insight, their awareness, that insight was very useful for the company. So they gave some ideas which were not available to everybody. And then, of course, you have observant, which is, to see and become aware. Not perceptive, not insightful, but observant. There are places where you can use them, you can interchange them, but these have specific meanings also. And observant is you look carefully, you see everything that is happening around you, and then you become aware. He is so aware that, he is so very aware that he knows what is happening in his society. Or you can say, he is observant, therefore he knows what is happening in the society. In this way, you can use all the 4 words. Try using them, look at their spelling, pronunciation, usage, and try to use them as often as possible. I'm sure your vocabulary will improve immensely. The third set in lesson number 5 again has 4 words. The first word, very firm, has synonyms tenacious, persistent, and determined. Tenacious, persistent, and determined. So very firm. You make a decision. I will do this work. So you say, my goal is firm. Then you say, this person is tenacious and will achieve the goal. So you use very firm. To be tenacious, to be firm is what achieves your goal. That way you can use. Persistent is to keep continuing. You are doing the same thing again and again. You persist. You repeat till you succeed. So you say that if you are persistent, you will achieve your goal. Now we are talking about the goal. We said that he is very firm and he will achieve his goal. So his persistence, or he is so persistent that he will achieve his goal. And then you say that, he is tenacious and he will achieve his goal. He will get whatever he has planned for. And then you look at the last word, determined. Determined also is very firm. I have seen a person who is very firm in decision making. So this person is so determined that whenever there's a problem, the decision making takes over and he makes the decisions himself. Decision making is very difficult. So unless you are determined, you are firm, you are convinced that you have to do it. So, to achieve the goal, which is the sentence I gave you initially, there also you require, instead of saying determined, you can use the word determination. Your determination will help you to achieve your goal. Unless you are determined, you cannot succeed in this work which you have undertaken. You have to be determined that I will achieve my goal. I will do this. In this way, we can use these words together, one instead of the other. That is why we call them synonyms. But there are many contexts where you might not use them. To know this, you need to practice. I'm just giving you a small introduction to these words. But the real work which you have to do is you have to practice these words. Once you practice these words, you will find that each day your vocabulary becomes better. And I'm not just telling you this, not only my students during the university days, but even now my online YouTube students are all saying this, that the vocabulary videos are improving our vocabulary immensely. But those are the ones who are practicing. So just listening to me is of no use. Practice and then you become perfect. I hope you have liked the video. Please subscribe if you haven't done it. Press the bell icon so that you get notifications. Like and hype the video and share it as widely as you can. Join the channel as a member to attend all the live classes I conduct and also to get other benefits. Thank you and all the best.